On the couch, on the couch, on the couch, homie, we on the couch. On the couch, on the couch, on the couch, homie, we on the couch. I said on the couch, on the couch, on the couch, homie, we on the couch. On the couch, on the couch, on the couch, homie, we on the couch.
On the couch.
You stupid. Hey guys, welcome back to On the Couch with your host Ray Marie.
And your co-host Doobie.
Producer man Taylor in the house.
Today we also have Cece with us, a community member and an activist out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Hello. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I'm good. Well, somewhat.
How y'all doing?
Somewhat good.
Somewhat good.
This is we're gonna call this our Black Lives Matter episode. We took a break last week. It's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of high emotional things regarding the Black community, and we just needed to take a minute to get some opinions on different views, and so I'm just gonna jump right in. I know I asked 3 questions, period. So we're gonna just go, and this is an open forum type of style.
Yeah, let's dive right
So
in.
where's your time?
Yeah, all right.
So the first thing I want to ask is, what is you guys' opinion about the current climate right now? Like as far as with everything that's going on with George Floyd, we have the Breonna Taylor situation, but it's been a common thread
That it is, yeah.
throughout a lot of things. So how do you mean, like, just talk? How do y'all feel?
I think that at this point, people are, everyone, honestly, I've been personally out protesting, and I've seen it. Everyone is over it. Tired of it, tired of seeing innocent people killed, innocent people murdered, specifically when it's broadcasted the way it is on the media. I think people rely on the media sometimes to provide them with, not just positive information, but truthful information. And when you are taught certain things in school and you get out into the world and see what's really going on, it makes you angry. So I think a lot of people are angry and they're responding in several different ways. And it's creating a divide, unfortunately, but that's pretty much what's going on is people are waking up. And even though it's creating conversations that may be positive or negative online or in social settings, I think it's good to even just have these conversations with each other now.
Definitely
Absolutely.
it is. Like, the one thing that I hate that I see going on social media, which is the reason I logged out. I've been logged out for days now, but it's like when people have a different opinion of something, they want to unfriend and disown, and it's not let's have these discussions and come together and see where your opinion would be valid in what we're trying to do collectively. Yeah. It's not, I haven't seen a lot of that. I just seen a lot of, you ain't my friend no more. I'm gonna delete me if you don't agree with me. Like, I don't have to agree with you in order for me to befriend you. I'm trying to understand where your point of view is, but you can't understand mine, and we divide.
And I think that's where the anger is right now, because right now is more based on emotions. Everybody's angry, and when you're angered, your thought process is not clear, because you are thinking based on emotions instead of breathing, taking control of that emotion, and then acting upon what's need to be acted upon, instead of this being detrimental to the people around you, and even including yourself, by not valuing or listening to any other opinions other than yours. Because, even a genius knows that he don't know everything.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why you consider him a genius.
And I think that's why everybody has their roles in what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's a key thing in respecting everybody's position and what's going on right now, because like you said, everybody's tired. Like, we are done. Like,
yeah.
But everybody reacts differently to trauma. And what this is generational trauma that has been passed down to us. And unfortunately for us, it's a pain that we have to deal with. Unfortunately for the oppressor, it's a price that you're going to have to pay. And that's just the way things are going to have to work. But because it is traumatic for us, people are lashing out how they lash out. Some of the most educated people they're calling senators and governors. They're doing what they know how to do with the education that they earned.
Exactly.
People like myself, are doing things like on the couch, or we have a platform that we've created that people watch, that we can actually start a conversation and say, okay, let's switch some stuff up, let's do this. That's our part. You know what I'm saying? Right. There are other people who are strong and and have a lot of adrenaline and pent up anger and emotion, because some of these people have been way more affected by racism than maybe I have. As a caramel, light-skinned, complected black male, I definitely understand that there are levels to this. And they are the ones out on the front lines fighting the officers and I dare say loot or riot or cause the destruction and overall chaos that is needed to make a change. So I just want everybody to like respect each person's position and what's happening here, because we have to do all of it. Unfortunately, we have to do the good and the bad to get everyone to get on the same page.
Yes, and there was one thing that stood strong when we were out there protesting specifically, is that people all had a specific role. People that were speaking out against people and what they were doing or not doing kind of stood out like a sore thumb, because everybody had solidarity. Like, you could actually tell where the undercover officers were standing at, or who the undercover officers were because of their behavior, like how they would speak, how they would want to create division within the groups itself, or how division within the groups was frowned upon certain people. We just have to be solid. We have to be solid and together as a unit when it comes to just discussing the oppression towards the police department itself. No, it's not no, it's not going to be received well if someone's coming up there just to loot and just to cause trouble. And that's the problem, is people are confusing protesters with looters, and some people are literally coming up there just to cause trouble. And those are the people who, of course, are getting on the news, and those are the people who you are seeing who are, at least whatever they leave behind is getting on the news. Mind you, they're just showing our black faces screaming we want justice, and then the aftermath of a looter, and then all of a sudden old people sitting at home putting two and two together, automatically assuming it's us. And it's even not just old white people, for real. It's just people who don't necessarily use anything but the news as an outlet for information. And that's what they rely on as well. Is they rely on that when they provide these newsletters. Like, they literally contradict themselves. Like, I literally watched a news reporter move himself from one corner to another and change his story when he was up in one corner talking about solidarity, talking about people being aggressive, and this might be causing trouble here at another corner because these people were more, outspoken about how they felt. They literally were causing that kind of, chaos. And depending on what time of the day you get off of work or the time you decide to get on your phone, you're going to see this one over the other one. And then we too have been spending too much time arguing about who's right over what, and instead of discussing what the problem is that we all are oppressed under white supremacy. We need to dismantle it, period.
That's the part.
And that's one thing that we need to do, is to be able to sit down like this and make sure that we come to an understanding of what we're actually going against first. So once we know what we're going against, we'll be able to brainstorm on what's needed, because like bro said, even rioting and looting is needed when it comes for change. But then you also need your people that's gonna be able to get in that room and sit down and talk to the right person and be like, okay,
write the letters.
This is what's said, but this is not what you're upholding. We need to make a change, regardless if we need to just disconnect ourselves from you completely, or we need to actually uphold everything that's written according and accountable for everybody, and not just for certain brackets. We're gonna put it like that, certain brackets.
And like, that's the thing about it, is a lot of people are like mad at certain people for not responding at all, but like you said, everyone responds to trauma differently, and this is trauma for us. And one thing about this younger generation is that we think about how we all inherited this generationally as far as the trauma itself. Slavery, the pain from slavery, then the oppression that came after slavery, and then we're born and still under slavery. And so these younger generation, what I'm literally watching is these kids, whether they're black, white, or Latinx, Native, it did not matter. They were upset because they've also had their own circumstances where they had to deal with police and know they were being discriminated against because of what they look like, or even who they love. We talking about being a person of color and queer at the same time. Like, that's we're just talking about different intersectionalities. But anytime we are coming in contact with the police, we have that fear, and that's one thing that people of privilege need to understand, that they don't have to worry about that. You don't have to then look up where you about to go eat at and what part of town it's in, just because you don't want to get discriminated or harassed or treated some kind of way. That's the kind of anger that these kids is coming from. So I understand that even myself, I'm not personally going to loot, no, but I can understand where these kids is coming from, and I'm not going to disown them or denounce them because they're doing that. When I understand exactly where the anger's coming from, I'm gonna do what I can do, like you said. I'm gonna play my role as far as that's concerned, but I'm not definitely going to denounce anyone else. And I get what you're saying too about educating people, but there are certain people like myself. I literally do this for a living. I work, as I'm outreach for Kansas City Anti-Violence Project, founder and CEO of Black Pockets. So we literally talk about just culturally oppression itself, anti-oppression, anti-violence over and over again. And I'm honestly tired of telling white people about my life. Why do I have to explain to you why you should give a fuck about oppression?
Right.
And then at the same time, I'm tired of telling black people why they should love themselves more than property. I'm sorry, I'm not going to live personally, but you're not going to sit on here and that's going to be the only thing you're going to talk about when it comes to this thing that I've seen you discuss. Is what we doing too. How you doing? That's dumb. That's literally what the oppressor taught us to do. Master taught us to do that a long time ago, so we would snitch on each other when a piece of loaf of bread was gone. Out his fucking house. Are you like, that's literally where this is coming from? And we don't understand that the pain from that has also generationally come, but also just a way of living from that has been inherited as well. We don't trust one another. And I think that's ultimately where we kind of sitting at right now. We're literally watching it happen in front of us. We got white folks is literally coming out and wanting to just be there. And then there's black folks who just like, no, I'm not fooling with that because that Rona around. They're more worried about the virus still than that.
So that definitely segues into the second part of what I want to talk about, because it's like, what do you feel like you said, everybody has their separate parts, everybody has to do and play their role inside of what we need to do for a change. So what do you feel needs to happen in order for things to change for us? Like, what should be the goal? Even if we have our own part of this, we need to have a common goal. And what do you feel like the goal is and should be?
To create our own, again, like our own systems. Why would we trust that kind of system that's done this to us all this time to somehow now liberate us and create these wonderful things that are just for us when we are the only ones who know what just for us looks like?
It's like we have to create a system that's better than the one that exists, and then be like, now that you see we can do it and it's doable, maybe we'll allow the rest of the world to be a part of what we built, because we built all this anyway. So I'm okay with tearing it all down because we're gonna need space, and we're gonna need space for the stuff we built, and it's not gonna be nothing like what you see. Because think Wakanda. I'm ready for Wakanda to finally erect. I mean, we've been wanting it. If you're in the comics and all that, you know what I'm saying?
The younger generation is not playing, ladies and gentlemen.
They're not.
They're not playing. There's a fire.
Understand that the world has to change, because you can't continue to teach young folks things in books, and then when they come out in the real world, they get smacked in the mouth because it's the complete opposite of the experience that you try to teach them, because you ultimately train them up to go to a 9-to-5 job every day, or to be in someone's system and work for that system. And literally, like, people have to feed themselves at the same time as assimilating to someone else's culture, because if they don't, you may not have a job tomorrow.
From a black male in America, I'm gonna tell you this right now: either you're gonna be a number on somebody's payroll or a number in somebody's jailhouse. That's just how I really see it, and that's because that's what they train us up to do. They don't really train us up to be great of who we are. Like, I mean, and don't get me wrong. Yes, we are gonna need people that's gonna, have to work in their field and do what they need to do. But they are still people. That's what we have to realize, regardless on what number we have to put in the books for them to be able to keep the business organized. Because I understand coming from a business owner, but you are still a human being before you was a number.
Yes.
Point blank, period. Like, and that's what we need to realize with everybody within ourselves, and what this system needs to realize about us. We are human before we was ever anything else. Before I knew I was black, I was human.
Yes. Absolutely that. And ultimately what the bottom line is like I said, we have to create our own, but it's like such a hard road because we have to dismantle the supremacy within our own minds. Like, we have to, we're still mentally enslaved, we're still mentally on plantations, we still stand on our porches and point at someone else's, throw stones at it like we're not, standing in front of a glass house. But we've all been carefully taught how to do that. We can't just sit around and talk about, you do this and you do that. Okay, well, what are we going to do about it? And we have to just have these discussions. We have to go through anti-oppression workshops. We have to sit down and have hard, uncomfortable conversations. We have to talk about why it's okay to let the pastor and the deacon do whatever they want to our little boys, but when the little boy come out to be gay when he's older, suddenly now something wrong with the little boy, but we still gonna throw the pastor 10% of our paycheck every time we see him. You're gonna we're gonna have to discuss this. We're gonna have to have these uncomfortable conversations within our community if we want our community to be different. And those are the conversations they're gonna have to be.
Because once we detach and we start building our own, you is who I'm gonna have to talk to.
Right.
I think our dad has said at one point that we have to like kind of we have to live in the code of ethics that we expect to be treated by as Black people, as a community of people who have been oppressed. We still have an obligation to live ethically for ourselves. It's not even so that we can model it for the for anyone else. It's so that we can actually grow as people, because whether we're still trying to not be oppressed or not, let's say tomorrow we get the keys to the world, will we be ready? You know what I mean? Will we have what it takes to really step up? Because the white people, they actually do. They have their evil, or let me not take it too deep, but they have their ways to make sure that things are going to run the way that they want them to run. That is a proven fact about white people. Black people are good at creating, inventing, we're amazing at supporting a system that allows white people to do what they do. We need to be able to channel that for ourselves, and that is why those questions are so important. There's so many skeletons in the Black community's closet that we need to work on ourselves, and but I don't think that now is a time to take those conversations into spaces where we're already being attacked from the outside. We don't need Black. What about Black? What about Black on Black crime? That's one of those examples. Like, that is an intercommunity situation that we will deal with when we are not oppressed. Because a lot of people don't realize that the oppression has put us in a position to have to take from each other, to have to steal from each other, to have to kill each other, to have to do things to each other that we would never do as humans, because Black people aren't violently natured. Violence is a learned trait for us. So that's where I leave
Black Wall Street existed and was just fine.
It was just fine.
We was helping each other out, and then white folks was the one going broke. They was the one still bouncing off of different pandemics that they owned at the time. And then Wall Street went down, and Black Wall Street had to come next, so they didn't like that very much. I mean, that's just what it is. They do it every time. Rosewood, we see it all the time. We see it happen over and over and over again, like we talked about with Philly earlier. That's just what it is. And so we have to dismantle that system in general. It's a patriarchy. It's literally just coming from a place of master, this one white man over us, telling us what to do. Everybody who's been to a corporate or just a regular ass meeting with that one white person telling y'all ass what to do. If you have a question, heaven help you, because you want to be pushed over to the side, and they're going to put that paper they put in that you signed when you first started and tell you have to do what the hell they said and get your ass back to work. We all have been carefully taught how to do that under this system, even if you white. But it benefits them the most, so naturally they don't want to overthrow it. But now we're actually seeing where we do have white people who also want to overthrow this system, because a lot of white people, the privilege of it is just assume that it will just get better with time. That's a privilege. Like, just assume, okay, over time it'll just get better. Eventually it'll be a better place. And that's a wonderful thought to have when you don't have all this oppression up your ass. But we don't have that kind of time, and this is what you're seeing. They burn this motherfucker down. It's pretty much how everybody's feeling.
And I feel you on that time thing, because honestly, I see that that's probably the big main reason why here since the pandemic been going on, that a lot of people has been creating their own.
Oh yes.
And I'm just like, but the way you just explained that, it's just like, oh yeah, because we don't, as time to us, it's like that.
Yes.
The privilege of actually knowing that you have more time the next day, that's a privilege that I wish
you understand the freedom, the stress-free, the relief. Not only can you get in your car, drive down the street, go to wherever place you want to and not be bothered, but you also know that in time, things will get better for everyone around you, because they're already okay for you.
And man,
like that's why we talk about blood pressure, we talk about diabetes, we want to talk about each other's diets. But even if I had a wonderful fucking diet, that is going to stress me out every goddamn day and give me anxiety or some type of psychotic disorder.
Yeah.
And they're gonna try to throw me in some type of institution and put another label of statistic on me without addressing the actual issues that
created
again.
the
Who put the
mindset.
crab in the barrel? Fuck all the conversations about who pulling each other down.
Who
This
put
is
them
not
in
our
there?
natural habitat, everyone. Hello.
Right.
We're not supposed to be in the fucking barrel. Who put us here? The white man on the other side of this is standing outside the barrel, kicking the bitch back and forth, having fucking games and shit.
Agitating the crabs inside.
Yes.
We want to see someone play football. Take a few of them out. Watch them.
You know what I mean? Like, it just
And we over here still having arguments about who pulling each other down. They don't give a fuck. We, like you said, we're inventing things to help out their society.
Yeah.
Why?
that they could just take
We
it from
invented a
us.
stoplight. Who the fuck said that's how traffic's supposed to work? Who said that? Who said it?
Exactly.
They just want to control us at every turn.
You see
Stop,
what I'm saying?
yield,
Because
And we done helped
Because
them out. We
if
doing
you-
something nice. We done we got players
If
on the
you've
plaque
been
and
in
shit.
other
Who the fuck
places,
said that's how traffic's supposed
you'll
to work?
know that they don't have traffic
Like,
lights and stuff like
and they
that.
work
And
perfectly
they be getting down through there.
And they be hitting 100 miles an hour
I just can't
and they
believe
wreck
they
with
got holes
nobody.
every 10 yards and they still be dipping through that mug like this.
Look
You
here.
might see a panther on the way. Well, what you mean?
Where you going?
Ain't no dipping awfully fast for panthers to be rolling outside.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Like straight up. Like, yeah, this is literally how we've been taught. Like, then so we have to dismantle all this, like pull it out of ourselves. And so by having those uncomfortable conversations, we can figure out where they come from. Not to blame anyone, not to stand and continue in our different corners of the barrel pointing at each other. You know what I'm
Right, like
saying?
I'm gonna stay over here
It's
with my
not for
piece
that
of
purpose.
whatever.
Like, I get it. Some people have time. Again, please, if you have the time online to educate your fellow man about themselves, I appreciate you. But as you see, anyone who follows me online, I do not. I am tired of doing that. Maybe in 2-3 weeks I might have time. I'm not even like I might feel better about it in a month. Like when we start having these meetings and having these community conversations, I might be cool about it, educating you and anybody else who want to talk about it. But right now, I do not have the time.
Yeah, because on some real talk, instead of us pointing fingers at each other, what
Let's
us crabs
discuss
need to
this.
be doing,
Yes.
we need to figure out,
How
okay,
do
what
we
you
get
good
out
at
of the
doing,
barrel
what
when
you
they
good
don't
at
put us
doing,
in
what you
here?
good at doing. All right, this how we about to get up out this mud.
That's
Like,
exactly.
Every 5 minutes, a toe come in this motherfucker and one of us die. If we all stand around this hole where this toe finna come in there with something sharp, I'm pretty sure we can get the fuck out. No, everybody talk about how sharp they is compared to theirs. Why you using wood and not metal? Like this is the kind of conversations we have about it. You know, this is literally like the
That's what
conversation
you worried about right now.
Take what you
Like-
got
You know what I'm
and
saying?
use that thing.
Right.
Okay.
Thank
What you
you.
worried about is what I have.
This is
Like,
great.
Let's just kill this motherfucker and get out of here. Like, okay, so the final topic I want to discuss, or the final question I want to ask you guys is, we kind of been touching this every question tonight, but how do you feel about the protests versus the riots? And do you feel like there is a difference? I mean, like you said, everyone has their place. Like we've been discussing that as well, but is like we're protesting, but they're seen rioters. So like, how can we try to like make the connection so they'll be able to see us protesting? You know what I mean? Or like, yeah.
I actually was thinking about this, and I think that it would be a great idea if we had our own camera crew, because then we can we have the platforms of social media to show the world what's really going on right now, even before this has happened. But we don't have the control of what the newscast puts out. So to cut that completely off, so we can actually give our truth.
Who gonna
Get our
broadcast
own-
this though?
It ain't even.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how we gonna? We gotta be able
And
to
that's
get
what I'm
past
saying. We
that.
got the social media platforms that we can actually utilize to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, don't
As
get
soon as
me
it
wrong.
gets deleted, keep reposting it. As soon as because it's gonna get deleted.
Allies really.
That's where they
White
matter. That's what I'm
allies, if you're
saying.
listening, that's where you really matter right there.
Yeah.
Just being a human shield, because it's that serious. Literally being a human shield is the utmost allyship that you can
Man,
provide for a
for
person
real.
of color, because we are killed, not just hurt. We be killed. We be literally dying for.
Don't miss it.
You can see us dying on video. You can see us from living to death over the course of sometimes 15 minutes. Like we don't be dying instantly. We suffer, and then we
Yeah.
lose our lives. So that's one. But if somebody can go out there dressed in a Channel 41 outfit and you the whitest that can be, but you an ally, get that camera footage.
Yes.
Because
Send
like,
that
if
to
it's
your
just us,
highest
they not
followed
going,
influencer friends
gonna
that
have
we
to
know
tell
you
somebody.
know.
Yeah.
You know, so that they can post those videos. So that to me, that like, as far as what you're saying, we need allies to that because they're arresting black journalists. They're arresting
for
black
doing this.
anyone that's recording. They're pointing guns. They're shooting rounds live and rubber, and you know what I'm saying.
They're ultimately controlling the narrative of the whole thing.
Exactly.
And we need to change the narrative, and that's with us as a community. That's with us with this topic. That's with us with anything. Is that they can control the narrative. They get to control what people think because they get to use the word thugs over looters. And things like that. When, like I said, people are literally coming there purposely not to protest. They don't really care about the subject. I literally had to cuss somebody out at the protest because they're too busy trying to make comments about having sage. You clearly don't know who you're here for, honey.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing you need to do is comment about me while you sitting here looking crazy. Like, let's not do that right now. This is literally a protest about someone being killed, and you up here trying to comment about what I do to honor my ancestors and to honor myself and clear negative space. I guess it's working because your punk ass just walked past me talking shit. You know what I'm saying? It pulls negativity. You know what I'm saying? That's literally people out there just to start shit. People came out there with frozen water bottles. That means that you literally just pulled it out your car. Yeah. So they could fall and hit them and actually harm someone. And then this, of course, people literally in the front row after this would happen. This is happening in the back, mind y'all. Are getting sprayed down with pepper spray in because they upset. They just want to retaliate at that point. I'm watching again people like as front face, like right in front of their face, point blank, just shooting them in the face with pepper spray. And we having to just use milk and baking soda and everything we can find because water does not help. People unfortunately assume it would not.
It will actually reactivate the chemicals. So please don't use water. There's a solution. We'll find it. We'll try to put it in the description box. But there's a pretty good solution that you can make with water and something else that will nullify the
water and baking soda is the mix that we have. I actually have that in my bag. I brought the protest bag. We can look at that later, but it's got a whole bunch in it. But yeah. So like I'm literally watching this happen, and the police responding to it is like just let's punish the people in the front, the people who are screaming at us. Like it literally was the point where it's whoever cussed them out best, like who they were just mad at them just because they had some slick shit to say that actually made sense. Let me spray everybody they next to. It's just stuff like that. Just I'm literally watching it while people are being peaceful. They just happen. They saying what they have to say. They getting down on one knee. They getting in the handcuff or arrest position. If you are a black man, because of course they put his face down the way they do. I've never seen a white man actually arrested like that unless he was like frat boy wasted and literally was butt naked and kicking people. Like
even serial killers, they be walked out.
Yeah,
walked out.
I've yet to see a white boy. I don't think. Again, they have to be naked or some shit, so they don't want to touch them or their dicks, so they put them on the ground like that. That's the only time I've seen that happen. That's literally the difference, and so I can understand people's anger. I can even understand people taking advantage of other folks looting at the same time. If you see something wide open and you right next to the store. Maybe you feel like it's best. That's how you can stick it to the man. I personally wouldn't do that. I'm a black person, so they don't shoot my black ass.
I personally wouldn't, but I wouldn't blame no black person for doing it. It's a form of trauma. And if you've been told your whole life you can't have these things, and you ain't been having these things, and your eyes are opening to a world that these things exist, and maybe you would have had them had you had not been oppressed, then I can't blame you. But as far as a white person with privilege, who out here looting in the midst of what we got going on,
create more problems
for us. Like those are the people that really grind my gears.
And how many of us have worked in these places that we couldn't even afford to shop in too?
How many?
How empowering is it for you to be able to bust up in that motherfucker and take what you want out of there and go about your day? I mean, like you said, I can't blame somebody else for what they choose to do.
That's their way of expressing their trauma.
Exactly. Somebody might be good as being on social media talking about it because they know a lot of people follow them. You know, a lot of people hear what they have to say, so it might just be good for them to share a whole bunch of stuff, which creates donations, which creates fundraisers and community projects and all kinds of things like that, which is something actually Black Pockets is trying to do even as well, is just create just different community spaces like block parties and festivals, etc. just because we need to celebrate ourselves as Black entrepreneurs, especially now, because a lot of us are new entrepreneurs, just thanks to the quarantine, thanks to the pandemic. And we need to celebrate that instead of being like, oh, well, why you got this business and I'm doing this business too? Well, maybe I serve a different clientele. I'm in my 40s.
We'll need them all.
Right, I'm in my 40s, you in your 20s.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
You have a different demographic, right.
Like, let's just come together and just do it. Like, that's what it is. Like, yeah,
Matter
we
of fact,
standing here talking about.
what you doing? Hey, let me check that out. Do my shit real quick. Like,
right.
oh yeah, this is what I be doing.
Exactly.
Like, you know, check this out. Oh, you want that? Oh,
Yes.
you know what? Matter of fact, I give you a discount just because you my nigga.
Exactly.
Come on, stop.
I do community engagement. You need me to walk around with this t-shirt on all day? It's fine.
Right.
They didn't like this one. They prefer that one. I just want you to know I got more compliments with that on the post. So this one, I can keep this one. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
It's free
like,
marketing. That's literally how we come together, and that's like we talked about the barter system. That's how you barter. I can't do this, but I can provide you this service for that.
Right.
I can build you a website, although I can't pay you, you know, for you helping me out with my logo, but I can build your website for you. Some people that you think that because you can do one thing, you can do the other, but maybe I'm not as good as that compared to this person, and vice versa. Why not just trade off, and both of y'all are gonna benefit from it? But again, it's that distrust. I'm not not at all discouraging anybody if they choose to feel that way. It's a mistrust that we have with each other because of how we've been oppressed under this particular system. So again, once we get out of this barrel, y'all, we can then sit down and have those separate conversations, but we have to first stop arguing over barrel conversations with one another, because we are all oppressed under that same lens of elitist supremacy, privilege.
Stop arguing over barrel conversations and let's start giving ideas on how the fuck we about to get up out of here.
Period. And we do financial literacy, so we gonna talk about how you can handle your money too, and in a Black way. Because y'all can't be listening to white people about your budget, because they talking about having yachts and shit, and that's one thing we won't. But if you can't, you know, if you ain't got money, what you want to
spend
talk
it?
about?
Like,
right.
It ain't how much money you got, it's what you spend it on.
Exactly. 80% of Americans right now have less than $550 in their savings account. So if you have even remotely close to that, even as a unit, as a couple, or as a joint, you are doing better than 80% of Americans. But they won't tell you that, because again, everything that we base on property is off of an assumption of what's good, opposed to what it actually is and its actual value. But again, we'll get into those conversations at a later date.
We just need to basically create I feel like there will be a people who are a Black, like a portion of us who are working on the integrated solution, which is supposed to be the plan A. But I feel like we as a Black people are definitely going to have a plan B, which is the underlying system that we build that is going to emerge, that doesn't rely on any government. You know what I mean? Like, as a free people on a land.
But see, that goes back
at what point do you like?
But it goes back to like changing people's mindset too, because I like us having our own shit. Even Solange came back and brought Black Planet back, and everybody had something to say about it not being developed. They need programmers, this, that, and the other. It ain't like Facebook, and they couldn't just be like, "Yeah, I'm a programmer. Let me help you out with this website." Because if it's just for us, let me help you build it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we are our worst critics sometimes, but it comes from the oppression. At the end of the day, it comes from the oppression. Like you said, the whole Willie Lynch thing. If they gonna hang the biggest, the strongest person up in front of us and slaughter them right in front of us, and then tell them to depend on me, you got single mothers out there depending on the government. You got people out there depending on their job. Like,
why not diminish this person?
Why not diminish this person so you can continue to depend on me? And then we get into this mindset where we don't, where everything that we know is from this, and then when one of us try to do something different, it's like, well, it ain't as good as this, so I'm gonna keep doing this. We have to dismantle that mindset. Like, if your people is doing something, and help your people. If you see them not being able to do what you feel like they should do, if you've been on Facebook for 12 fucking years, and then Black Planet comes back, and you see Black Planet struggling, but it's a Black person trying to own it for Black people, then help them.
Yeah.
Why talk about it?
Trust, white people are not intimidated. At least the ones that are actually
not
in
at all.
real struggle. They are not intimidated about us having our own. Only ones that were are the people who are still trying to oppress us. Everyone that I know is okay with us having our own spaces, our own community places, and then places for us to just celebrate who we are as individuals, because it does not take away from who they are. And the only time it does is, again, if you're trying to oppress somebody else, or if you're trying to put them underneath the scope of what you think is correct or what you think is appropriate. We all know that, but that's bullshit.
Honestly, there's nothing wrong with different groups of people living different ways, all on the same earth. That's how it's supposed to be. That is how it's supposed to be. We share, and at the point where we meet is where we share resources, where we where we confirm the advancement of the human race,
Yeah.
not of the black, white, or orange one, but the
Right.
human race. And as black people, we culturally need different things. As white people, you culturally need different things. As Asians, Malaysians,
Exactly. That's
whatever you are,
Mexicans, Native Americans,
even
like,
different types of black people need different types of things. Like,
And then that's the conversations they don't be ready for because they are too busy talking about being equal and equality. That's equity is what we talking about. We're talking about being equitable.
yeah, we're definitely
Period.
equitable, but we're not. We're all human, but we definitely are not equal.
No, definitely not.
We're all
not
different.
We wasn't-
Especially
we're made
now.
to be.
Not
That's
after
the-
hundreds of years
How?
of oppression. No, we definitely gonna need some different adjustments than y'all.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's definitely gonna take hundreds of years to get
In
to
order
the
for it
point
to get
that
back.
I'm talking about, where we
Right.
live in peacefully kumbaya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all got some
Hakuna
proving to do.
Matata.
Y'all got some footwork, some proving to do.
Period. Right.
Because I know the system we gonna build is gonna be marveled. You know what I mean? It's gonna
Exactly.
be one for the history
And
books.
they're gonna
It's
be having it right
one
back in their
for
damn
hu-
banks
for-
and knocking it back up again if we don't do this shit the right way. It's just what it is.
Right.
We can't advance as humans until black people aren't oppressed, and that's that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
We just can't.
Exactly. There it is.
Speaking of oppression, I just want to see what's in this backpack.
Oh,
Word.
yes.
Let me see
Oh,
what's
yeah,
in
you
your
got that.
The protest pack.
The
backpack.
protest pack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this is new, improved. I had to upgrade because I had a much smaller bag. It had most of the things that's in here in it. Y'all ain't gonna know how, but I just wanted to show the Americans. So this is just so I could, put this up and
Yeah.
use one of them wonderful sticks.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have time to use it, but it's in here just in case I want to.
Yeah.
We got the first aid kit because you gotta
Of
have
course.
that just in case somebody get hurt. I of course have my nice little Joker mask out there. So.
Sometimes you gotta cover your identity. It's important,
I actually
right?
have two just because this one's actually more thick than this is because
Mhm.
again you got to be careful. There is still a virus going on.
It is still a
supposedly.
virus.
At least that's what they saying.
Right.
We are black, so we need them sunflower seeds. We got granola bars.
Yes.
Little snacks keep you going.
With some
Good
Twizzlers.
Oh. Got to keep some stuff. So you
This
know,
is
you don't
actually
get
some
damaged.
water and baking soda right here. So this is something that you would use to literally just squirt in people's eyes on their face with their eyes closed. And you gotta tell them to open them. That's when it starts burning. And you basically sitting there like, oh, I'm so sorry, because you know it burns. There ain't really nothing they can do but wait it out and cry it out.
Yeah.
We got, more snack crackers. We got your boy Pickle Rick with the weed in it.
Pickle Rick.
And I got some paper and pens in here, and then these are actually some wipes with some oregano oil that is a natural disinfectant. So
Okay.
it's good to have. And then of course you gotta have your gloves. There's a whole bunch of these.
Okay.
And then this is a charger for. Of course you get your charger.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got an action packed out here. Got
Yeah.
some gum in the front
Action
here.
packed.
Yeah.
Couple of things if you need to make a
Yeah.
protest
Protest
pack.
pack, that would
There
be
you
a
go.
good,
Yeah, it is.
a
Couple
good
of
base
things to
for
put in
sure.
there.
Don't forget, I have snacks like footies, and you can't forget your hand sanitizer.
You can't get your hand sanitizer at all.
Be safe
Be
and
safe.
healthy.
Okay, so what are your final thoughts? Like, what are your final thoughts about our conversation today?
Solidarity was like one big thing that we talked about, just coming together ultimately, just as a people and really as a community. Because again, I think, like you said, the only real color to the capitalists right now is green. We all, of course, have our own needs as communities, but the ultimate goal is just coming together against police brutality, oppression, and murder of innocent black people specifically, not just men, but women as well as gender non-conforming individuals have lost their lives. And then again, just once we are done with out of this barrel, of course, as crabs, then we can discuss, our community as a whole and come together and have those uncomfortable conversations. Just because there, of course, are what's oppressing us still within our communities as well, whether it's the black community, the gay community, or being smacked with both. Of course, being black and queer, or just being a black person in general, having to walk the streets. So, I think that would be my personal final thought. And then, however you choose to, whether you're protesting, looting, or simply just somebody online, however you choose to fight the fight right now, just know that it's encouraged, it's celebrated, it's appreciated, from me personally, as well as all the organizations that I represent.
So where can people find you? And if you have any insight, where can people go online to help?
Oh, absolutely. So we have several places that people can go. We have, if you are a youth or individual who's looking for just community as a young person who are transgender or gender nonconforming, there is KC Transformations that's available. We have the Kansas City Anti-Violence Project, outreach, of course, for them. We provide LGBTQ plus individuals with support, and it's anti-violence specifically, so it's very much on this topic all the time. Rest in peace to BB Hill. That's someone who actually just received, who just had their video of police brutality broadcasted across Kansas City, and has also now been unjustly murdered early as well. So they've lost their life as well. So rest in peace to them. Definitely encourage people to just go and read things about their community itself. But if you want to get in touch with me, Black Pockets LLC is online on Facebook. We are also at Gmail. Same thing, blackpocketsllc@gmail.com. You can hit me up at cc@kcabp.org if you wanted to have more about the KCABP nonprofit side of things. And you also can hit us up again at that Gmail address or our blackpocketsllc.com website. There is a contact us section of that as well.
Okay.
So there's several different places.
All right, dope. We definitely want to thank you for coming and sharing your perspective, and especially being someone who on the front line. We do definitely want to say thank you and appreciate you for being out there and being a voice for people who I'm not even gonna lie, like may be afraid or may not be able to be out there. You're a part of the main change. So thank you for being out there, and
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me, especially just having this conversation, because I know we all come from different places and we all have different perspectives, but we all ultimately agree that it's best for us to just do what we can to show a solid unit as a people. So I thank y'all for even allowing me to come and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So much. Yeah. All right, guys. So we want you to comment below your thoughts about the conversation. How do you feel like you fit in with the conversation? If you feel like you are not allied to our conversation and to our plight, please comment below.
Thanks for tuning in to the Black Lives Matter episode of On the Couch.
We want you guys to join the discussion, so please comment below, like the video and everything. We want to know your opinion on this subject and everything that's going on right now.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And if you missed any of our last episodes, keep watching.
Bye.